Tēnā koutou, beautiful souls, and welcome back to Returning to Wholeness with Catherine Parslight. I'm your host, Catherine Parr, and today I'm joined once again by a man I hold in the highest respect, the incredible Frank Arjava Peta, a teacher, a historian, a keeper of lineage, and a soul who walks this earth with a depth of presence that reminds us what it means to truly be. Today, we're diving into a conversation that gently and powerfully brings us home to ourselves. This episode is an invitation to soften, to remember, to allow the layers you've carried, the expectations, identities, and survival stories to fall away so the purity of your essence can rise again. Frank and I explore what it means to be human and divine at the same time, what it means to honor your innocence without losing your wisdom, and how the journey of healing is really a journey of remembering who you always were underneath it all. So settle into your breath, open your heart, and join us for this beautiful korero, a conversation filled with light, presence, and remembrance. Let's return to wholeness together. So, Arjava, you've just been in Paris. How was that?
Was beautiful. Was really beautiful. I ran a Reiki workshop there, and lots of the participants went through some deep emotional healing, looking at issues that have been making their lives difficult and breaking through this shell of trauma. So it was very, very beautiful. I loved it. It was good.
So it was quite emotional?
Yeah, it was quite emotional, the whole thing. So what I like to do when I start my groups is I ask all the participants how they are, what they're feeling, what they want to say, so they can get to know each other, and then I kind of zoom in on what I think where their pain is hiding. And then we take it from there. I love that. It's so unexpected and beautiful. And for me, the Reiki or the whatever it is that you teach is just really an excuse to be with people and to try to figure out who you are. Everyone for themselves. I mean, I'm doing the same. I've been doing the same ever since I'm like a teenager. Just figuring out who I really am, not my conditioning, my culture, my language, my religion, my small self that has grown over the years into this big bubble. But what is beyond that? What is really inside? What is in here? And this is what I like for myself, and that's what I promote for other people, because that's really all we have. As long as we are not happy with who we are, no matter what we do, whether we make millions or live under a bridge in India, it's the same waste of time, really.
Yeah. And I feel like, it's a funny question because I was talking to another very spiritual person today as well. And that we were talking about, when you say, who are you? Who am I? And when you answer that question, it's usually, oh, I'm a mother, or I do this for a job, or it's not what you're saying, Ajaba. It's like, who am I at the core? Who am I as a soul? I think we kind of stop it out here instead of really going in deep.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So when you ask yourself that question, I'll tell you a story. I tell you a story. Once I was at a book fair many years ago in Frankfurt, and the Frankfurt book fairs, they're like it's a whole city of books, of authors, of publishers, and my publisher had asked me to go. and spend some time with them and also meet other publishers. And then by chance, one of their friends came by who used to be one of the like legal advisors of many of the German presidents, was this big, huge man with the high blood pressure, with the big red head. And he looked at me like this and he said, I heard from our friend, the publisher, about you and your adventures. Did you ever get anywhere spiritually, I mean, in your life? And he's staring at me like this. I'm looking at him. I said, no, thank God, no. He just hits me on the shoulder and says, good boy. And it turned out he was a Zen student for 40 or 50 years. So what he was trying to say was that whenever you answer that question, you're wrong.
Mm.
Yeah, whatever you can say is wrong. And there's a very beautiful psychotherapeutic process. It's called enlightenment intensive or intensive enlightenment. I don't remember either one. Either one is good for me. Where you you do this process in a group and you sit in front of your partner. Let's say we two sit in front of each other, and I say, "Tell me who you are." And then you tell me, I'm Catherine, I'm a mother, my kids are this, my husband is that, I do, and you go on for 5 minutes, and then there's like a signal, a bell or something, ting, change over, and then you ask me, tell me who you are. So I say, I'm Arjava, I have 2 kids, I live in Greece, I blah, 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 blah. And this goes on for 3 days.
Oh.
About I don't know, 12 or 14 hours per day. And after about 6 hours or so, you know that everything you say is wrong. Everything you say is just barely scratching a little bit of the surface, but it doesn't describe who you are. And you get so mad in the group I was in when we did that about 45 years ago. There was a Japanese participant, and he was sitting like the shaven head, sitting like a Buddha statue, and everybody in the group thought, "Oh my God, this guy's got it made." And after 2 days, they had to. He freaked out, and they had to pin him down with like 5 people so he didn't hurt himself or other people. It because you can pretend. But then when you really face it, that you don't know who you are even, it's scary, it's freaky. And it takes some time getting used to it. So um, the way I do it sometimes is a meditation technique. Maybe this is something we can just say quickly for our listeners, which is really amazing. Comes from an Indian guru saint called Ramana Maharshi. It's a very beautiful man, lived in South India. And he had this technique that he called self-inquiry. So he said, when you sit in meditation, was one of the techniques he used. There is a lot more, but this is maybe the most well-known one. He said, so when you sit, you close your eyes and then the first thought arises. So I just remember I was talking to my daughter yesterday for 2 hours on the telephone. Wonder how she is today. And then this whole movie starts. It goes, oh, yes. She said she was a little bit bored and blah, 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 blah. Instead of doing this and letting this automatic pilot take you into the past, really, or into an anticipated future, what you do is you ask yourself, who is having this thought? Yeah? So I replay that movie again. I'm sitting in deep meditation. Yeah, I look so quiet from the outside, but deep inside, it's boiling. like a volcano. It looks so nice, but inside there is fire and there is lots of heat. So I'm sitting, and then the first thought arises. Wonder how my daughter is today. And then I ask myself, who is having this thought?
Mm.
And I answer, I, I am. And then I ask myself, who am I? It's a beautiful process. Yeah? And then you just encounter nothing, just space, infinite space. Yeah? Where suddenly you have like an inkling of something which you can't describe, your being, yeah? Your
Mhm.
infinity, yeah? Suddenly. And then maybe you can stay in that infinity, the consciousness, yeah?
Mm.
Collective consciousness. Yeah? You stay in there for a while until the monkey mind starts up again and brings you the next little thought. Maybe you think about what you're going to have for dinner or for breakfast or what you're going to do tomorrow. And again, when the thought arises, you say, who is having this thought? So you trace the thought back to its origin. You answer, I am. And then you ask yourself, who am I? But you don't try to answer the question. You just, it's like you're colliding with something infinite while you're asking yourself. Right? Just stay there, stay in that collision with the infinite. It's so beautiful. So
Mhm.
you can't answer that question. Everything you say is wrong. Everything you say is on the surface, and it doesn't describe really what you are. And the moment you do, you're deceiving yourself, right? Because that being, what you are, what I am, what we all are, what nature is, what God is, what the the all, the is,
Mm.
it cannot be described.
Mm.
It's too big. We don't have words for that. It's so beautiful. Yeah? In Buddhism, maybe they call it emptiness. I'm a little bit unhappy with that word because I find it maybe a nicer description in English is spacious,
Yeah. Mm.
infinite space. It's incredible. We're floating in this infinite space. I mean, literally, we're floating in this. Incredible, beautiful.
And do you think you reach that level of consciousness through meditation? Is that from, um, or would you have got into that process without because you did a lot of unconditioning when you went through your time, was it in India?
In India, for me, I think that's really the meditative practice. It's not that the meditative practice makes you enlightened. It's not like that. But what it is that you start to observe and watch the thought process like clouds coming and going, passing by.
Mm.
And you create some kind of distance and disidentification with the small self. That's it. Yeah.
Yes.
Just keep watching, 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 looking at it. And maybe with practice, you then succeed more often, but not always. Not always. There are also times when I feel rotten and disconnected, and just it's just normal, human. But
That's that's great that you talk into that because recently I've been feeling the same way. But then when we come back to that center, right? When we actually come back to center, we just realize that we're always connected. But it's life for life, won't it?
We're always connected. We cannot be otherwise. It's not possible. That's our nature. That's our being. But the forgetting is an essential part of returning to it. If you think of the image, like what does it take for somebody to come home? They have to be away from home first, otherwise they can't come home.
Yes.
Yeah. So you have to deviate. You have to feel disconnected. You have to do things you don't want to do. You have to suffer. You have to have pain. That pain cracks that individual self. And there's a Leonard Cohen song where he says there's a crack in everything, and that's how the light gets in. And that's really how I perceive it, that our pain, our traumatic experiences, our emotional stuff, our suffering, it cracks the hard shell of our imaginary self and allows the light to come in. And when the light comes in, everything's
Yeah.
beautiful. And everyone is beautiful and everything is just as is. No
Mm.
compromise. No need to change anything. So beautiful. And this is what I would like to convey when teaching Reiki or teaching anything else. The other thing I teach is family constellations and meditation. And basically, the method to me doesn't really matter so much. I'm not being disrespectful. I love Reiki and teaching Reiki. I love it. Yeah? But the
Mm.
real thing behind it is, who are you? Yeah? This is
Mm.
what we are here to find out, who we are. And the technique doesn't really matter. Anything will do to crack that coconut.
When I think about that, I think about all the different interpretations of spirituality, how we've got religion and we've got Buddhism and we've got um, even Maori in Aotearoa, New Zealand. We have our own beliefs around spiritual practices, and um, it's all doing the same thing. It's all about cracking the coconut to let the light in. Really, it's just they're all just saying it a little bit different. I'm a lot
It,
different.
yeah, of course. In the end, it's all the same. The humans are all the same, made of the same material. We are nature, like everything around us. And just the imagery, of course, is a little bit different. The descriptions are different depending on the geology, on the weather, on the development of culture, but in the end, it's all the same. It's all exactly the same. We are one. No matter what we do or say, whether we get it or not, that's it. I think in the last podcast, we talked about this a little bit. I have this image of the earth. If you were to float upwards, and then at some point you can see the curvature of the earth. And if you go a little bit more, you see just one big celestial being. It's not a philosophy, it's just a simple fact. We are
Mm.
part of that. And if you were to look at it in a bigger scale, then this small earth is part of an unimaginable universe.
Yeah.
It's all one. Yeah, when you look at an orange also, yeah, you don't divide it into the outer skin and that little membrane and it's one. Yeah, it's an orange. We are that. We are one, whether we
Mm.
know it or not.
We want to believe it or not.
Yeah, yeah, of course, of course. Yeah.
There you go.
The
Mm.
small self that says, no, no, I'm better.
I'm you're a being.
I'm better. I'm the I always say to people here when they tell me, oh yeah, you create your own reality and all that, I said, come and visit me at night, look up into the sky, and then tell me that you're creating, that you're the king and the queen of the universe. You're gonna be joking, yeah? We are nothing. Just a grain of dust,
When
nothing.
when we think about that at Java, what do we so when our life is life and when life is happening, what is the reason for that then? What is the reason for our existence? Like what and that's a pretty deep question, but what do you believe? Right.
I, the only thing I can think of is really to figure out who you are.
Mm.
That is, when I look back at my life, I see all these attempts at figuring out who I am and living an authentic life. And many times I failed doing that. And the failures have shown me that it's something to learn. You haven't reached your real, true, authentic self yet. You're still practicing. And that's what I do. I practice and I discard what I see. That's not me. This is not me. We can let this go. So instead of, say, gaining something or gaining more knowledge,
Mm.
which is really third-hand stuff from other people, not your own, huh? Instead of becoming bigger, better, greater, that's a really materialistic way of looking at spirit. It's more like cutting more and more pieces off and letting go of. It's more a letting go or a lessening of the self at that
So
time.
yeah, and in the Reiki we talked about reincarnation. Um, right. And so when you reincarnate each time around, how does that process work, Java?
I, I don't really personally believe in reincarnation the way that many people understand it. They think that, okay, I'm here now, I'm in this body, I have this particular mind, and then I die and I come back again as me, maybe a little bit different body, but basically as me. uh.
Oh. Mm.
But if you really investigate deep inside and look inside and check who you are, there's just this what we talked about earlier, this spaciousness, that infinite. Yeah? You are the infinite. You are not an individual person identity. Yeah? The individual identity is just a surface. So you could divide yourself in, let's say, your physical body, just for argumentation's sake. Yeah? Your physical body here, then your psycho emotional self, your heart, mind, your thoughts, your emotions, all that stuff. And then you may call it soul or divine spark or your essence or whatever you want to call that thing that cannot be described. So basically, it's these three things. And when the physical body dies, after the heart stops after a while, it's finished. Okay, so physical body is gone. Then the Eastern religions, they believe that then the psycho-emotional self, it disintegrates slowly and it takes like 49 or 50 days, something like, in some religions, 40 days to disappear. That means your mind, your heart mind is also gone. And all
Mm.
that remains is the divine core, the essence, that then ascends and at some point comes back, but it never comes back the same way. It's always unique and always different. That means the idea of that individual self, the me, I, yeah, that's kind of a wrong notion from the very beginning. So how can I be reincarnated either? You know what I mean?
I do. I
Yeah,
do.
it's like there is nothing there. The, or it's just infinity, and infinity being rebirthed again and again. Maybe the easiest way to describe it is like in the sea, which we both love, I know. You have waves coming in, and then one wave comes in, hits the beach, and then the next one. Are they different or are they the same?
Yes. No, they're never the same. Sorry, I got the analogy. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Same.
never the same. They cannot possibly be the same. It's just not possible. And we are like that. Yeah, so the first reincarnation finished, beached. Yeah. Then the second one comes, it's the same material, but they are not the same. And the other thing that I feel cautious about is when people remember their past lives and they say, oh, I was this famous person, the Pope and the Emperor of China. This, I'm just laughing. I'm going, most probably we were just very simple beings like we are now. There's no need to have been something special or famous or something. It's all again the mind trying to create being special.
The ego, isn't it? It's very much the ego.
So in the same sense, I kind of have the impression that the the memories that you may have of another existence are more like that image we had of the sea, yeah? Of the same substance that is the same,
Mm, true.
inseparable. And of course, it has knowledge of the collective because it's made of exactly the same material.
Yeah.
How I see it. But there seemed to be some kind of development also. If you look at your life and the life of somebody else you know well, you can see that they might have to go through something that you never had to go through.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's not because you worked it out. No, it's because that has never been an issue in your life, and I suspect that this thing is something that you have learned previously. You don't have to learn it again.
Yes.
It doesn't make anyone better than anybody else, but it's a learning. I suppose it's a learning process, and I hope I will not figure out who I am too quickly, because
Mm.
that's the end, game over. You can throw another 50 cents in the machine, it will not start. So I keep some ignorance to have some more fun here because I love being here. I just love life. It's such a beautiful thing with all the challenges and all the hardship and everything. It's such a cleansing, purifying uh, process. And I think this is why we are here to purify, 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 cleanse, 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 cleanse until nothing is left, like peeling an onion. how he peeled one layer after the other, and then suddenly, poof, gone. Yeah, but gone doesn't mean gone, but dissolved into the everything.
And so, Arjava, when we're talking, like talking into the healing side of things, because you're talking about, we're all really here to heal, to purify, to heal, to purify. Um, is everybody, I mean, I believe that everybody is a healer. So when people start saying, oh, you're a healer and you're a healer and and this person's a healer, but do you believe the same thing? Do you believe that everybody has healing gifts and that everyone, that they're all healers?
Every plant, every animal has that.
Mm.
It's normal. If you rip off a branch of a tree, it will heal itself. Yeah, how does it do it? Oh, it's magic, incredible what it does. How did it learn that? It's natural,
Mm.
built in. That's the self-preservation skills that we all have. Every cat has that. When your cat has a wound or something, she or he knows how to take care of that. And the human is the same. The only difference is that we, by some kind of mismanagement, have deviated and disconnected so much from nature and our natural abilities that we just don't know how to do it anymore. But really, go to a go outside, go to the park, and you see mothers with their babies. I mean, what are they doing? They're holding the baby when the baby's crying. They rub the belly. What is this? This is healing. This is the natural ability of every human. And because we are so disconnected with that naturalness, with our nature, we have to go somewhere to learn what is really our birthright, yeah, our nature. We all have it. So you can see it in your Maori culture from what I have seen. Yeah? It's much more actual. Yeah? People are
Mm.
connected to knowing that everybody has this skill, and the same with psychic understanding. Yeah? It's much more actual in your culture, where a lot of other cultures, like in Germany, if you say to somebody, "Oh, you're really psychic or something," they say, "What? Are you crazy? No, you
You
just,
shake our hearing voices?
yeah, you hear voices want to send me to the mental hospital."
Yeah.
It's so disconnected from the natural and which for me is totally normal. When you have some kind of pain, yeah, put your hand on it because you know you feel better. It helps you. And
And
every one of us has that skill.
with just to support the German people, they're very good with the medical the stage of their medical at the medical industry over there.
We also have homeopathy that basically grew there. Yeah.
There we go.
So it's never only one side. Nature always keeps balance. And we have beautiful healing arts in Germany that not many people know about, where you use like incantations to work on certain illnesses. I also practice this, so it's not all bad. It was just a good example of let's say, scientific mind that has blacked out
Wow.
the natural.
Wow.
Then we have started to believe only what we can see and prove, and have in that way lost our innocence. And the innocence is, I think, one of the most beautiful gifts that we have, and it's that's another thing I pay attention to, that no matter what happens in your life, preserve your innocence.
Mm.
Don't let your innocence be taken away by trauma or hardship. Well, always keep it. That's a great treasure. And when you're innocent, you can also appreciate the invisible.
Mm. Mm. Yes.
Like a kid, like a child. That small kids, they can see fairies, they can hear voices. It's fine. Yeah? It's just beautiful. And then when we grow up, we are taught not to do that, and that's really unfortunate. So keep your innocence and as a great treasure. So all of this you were asking me before about my teaching, and we got into this whole Pandora's box here. These are the things that are important to me, and since I separated from the Jikiden Reiki Institute but just about a year ago and started to go on my own path, the Arjava Reiki Institute, I I find myself having more space to explore this kind of thing together with my students, and I love that. Yeah, it's so beautiful because that everything else is like putting a band-aid on the pain.
Yeah.
But it's time that we really look at ourselves and look at what's going on. And we can't go on like this. The politics, all that is only ego, money driven. It's not going to work. We need to make a big change, and that big change is an inner revolution of people really getting in touch with themselves, their essence, their kindness, their love, and all that, and then everything will change. But it will not change globally, but it will change in a small way in your family.
Mm.
And then from there, it radiates out. And so if I look at the atmosphere in our house where we live here in Greece, with my kids when they are here, it's so beautiful and loving and kind. And I can see that they also take that out into their circles with their partners, and I can see them doing so beautifully, and I like that. This is how change happens. Small units, much more important than trying to change the world. You change yourself. That's it. That's the start, and that has a magnetic power. It's attractive. That's what attracts other people. They go, "Wow, what is going on with her? She's so beautiful. She's such a beautiful person." And then he grows up like that. They can't put their finger on it. They don't know what it is. They don't need to know.
Mm.
But you teach by example, by just being compassionate, being kind, being you. And when
Mm.
people see you being authentic, being you, they go, "Wow, I want that too."
Yeah.
So this is my aim, encouraging people really to be themselves.
Yeah.
The most simple thing you, yeah?
Returning to wholeness,
Yes,
returning to their wholeness.
yes.
I love it. When you do your workshops, do you pre plan them? Because by the sounds of it, it's, I would say, spirit led. or do you have a structure now that you're running your own Arjava Reiki Institute? Do you still need to follow that structure, or do you have your core bits and you just kind of allow it to organically unfold when you're there?
I used to have a friend. Unfortunately, she passed away many years ago, who was a numerologist. And she was really, really good at that. So she would look at your numbers, your date of birth and all that, what they do,
Right.
then tell you what your issues are and what you need to work on and how you can go about it. And she was so spookily accurate, as if like when you had a session with her, you thought, my God, she's been watching over my shoulder for 20 years. Really
Wow.
incredible. And one of the things she said to me, there was just the time when I was starting to be well known in the Reiki world and starting to travel and teaching. And she said to me, whenever you do a lecture, don't prepare.
Oh,
Absolutely unprepared. You just sit there. And this is your skill, that when you don't prepare anything, you're able to download, let's say, what needs to come, what needs to happen now in the present. In the beginning, obviously, that was a bit scary, to just sit there. And now I often trick myself. I say, okay, guys, let's start with a short meditation because I don't know what to say. Then I sit quietly with them. And then the things just take on a life of their own. So this is how I do it. Of course, I know my subject well. I've been doing this for so many years. It's like 35 years now.
Mm.
I know the subject well. I have this, um, I don't know what to call it, self-confidence about knowing the subject well, of having dived deeply, deeply into it. And I know what I want to pass on to others. So I have a kind of a system, but I just let it come out and let it show itself the way it wants.
Mm.
And so I don't interfere much when things go in a direction where I don't want to go. But I have the impression that it's necessary and it's good to create some kind of opening, to help somebody open up their hearts. Then I just let it go, and I think, oh, okay, we'll do what I wanted to do. We do a little bit later, do tomorrow. Then, so
From
there,
my experience, Java, from doing your workshop, I really feel like you're not just teaching, you're not just giving tools, you're teaching the soul. So you're working with the soul, and it's pretty magical being in the room with you when you're in the zone. Well, just doing what you do naturally. Sorry, my cat's making noises beside me.
it's funny, people, people. Sometimes people ask me how you do it, how you open people's hearts, and I don't do anything. Nothing. I mean, I don't have a technique in that. Literally, I'm not being humble or anything. I don't do anything. It just, maybe because I just love people as they are. Maybe they feel it, and then they they can open up. They're not afraid, like
Yeah.
that. But this is what I like to do, and you cannot plan that because you don't know. You don't know who's sitting there, and you just create a safe space where people can encounter themselves.
Yeah. And it felt
Nice,
very much,
very
it
nice,
felt
very
very much like
beautiful.
that.
And not only beautiful for them, but it's also really beautiful for me because I'm also in that same process of unfolding. It's not that I'm at the end and I'm orchestrating something, not at all. I'm just as much part of that process as everybody else is.
Mm. Yes. Wow. Um, so let's just talk about how much that's shifted since, say, the last 20 years versus how you're teaching them now. How different that looks. Like, were you ever kind of more like, because you had to follow the association's rules and things like that, or have you always mostly just allowed it to flow like what you've just described? Do you have more freedom now, Ajave? I guess that's my question. Do you have more freedom now?
Yes,
Yeah.
I have more now. That's nice because, okay, my name, my given name, Frank, means free.
Mm.
Freedom. So obviously, that's an issue for me. Freedom. Arjava, my spiritual name, means authentic. It's the same. Freedom and authenticity are the same. If you're authentic, you're completely free. It's beautiful. And I am much more free now because I don't have to follow anything really. I love that. It's good for me. On the other hand, the work I've done with the Jikiden Reiki Institute in the past 25 years was beautiful. It was necessary for all of us, but now I'm happy that I can just be more, let's say, more liquid and not pay so much attention to technique, but more to what is inside, yeah? The essential, because that's really my concern. My concern is not with the practicality of it, but the treasure inside it. So I have more time for that, and that's it's really nice.
And are you finding that your students are responding better to this way versus the? I mean, I know we're always going to have the ones in the room that are like, "Look, I read this," and da, 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 because that's how they learn. But are you finding that people you're actually getting more? They're getting more out of the training now than what they have in the past, or what? I know you've only done 2 workshops now. Is it only two? Just
Three,
the two? Three?
three,
Sorry.
one in Canada, one in New Zealand, one in Paris. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't really
Measure it.
measure it or have a way of measuring it. I don't know. Usually my wife asks me, oh, when we talk at night when I'm away teaching somewhere, she might ask me, how was it today? And then I'm like, know how it was. I don't know how it was for the people. I know how it was for me that I enjoyed it, but I don't know how it was for them. But what I see these days in the groups that people seem to go deep, and I like that. I wouldn't say that it's better or than before. It's different, and also not everybody wants to go deeply within themselves. You know,
Mm.
people, many people are satisfied by not exposing where they hurt and all that. Not ready for that. So I don't know. It's hard to answer that question. But if I think if one person in a group really uh, experiences some breakthrough, I'm happy. But usually it's not just one, you know.
Pretty sure it's more than one, Arjava. I've been there.
But it's also it's also a unit in itself, and we go through stuff collectively together,
Mm.
including me. I like that.
Ah,
I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm more free now by in my ways, but that's really looking at it. My whole life has been slowly coming out of the cage
yeah,
that I really have built around myself. And it is not anybody else's fault. It's my own fault or fault, my own doing. When we create identity, which is like a cage, and then maybe at some point after you've created this beautiful jail for yourself, then start to dismantle it piece by piece, bar by bar, bend the bar so you have a nice view, and then bend it a little bit more so you stick one hand out, and bend it a little bit more, you could stick your head out. In the end, maybe you have enough space to just get out
and be free.
and be free. Also, I think freedom is not like a product, a finished product, but it's an unfolding, like a blossom, unfolding, and it doesn't stop.
Mm.
It stops when all the petals have fallen off.
Yeah. So when we talked about when we did the Reiki, when I did the Reiki course with you, the workshop, um, we talked about the different levels of your soul's incarnation, and I want to know what level you think you're at.
I have no idea.
You
I have
don't
no,
want to know. You don't want to know, do you, Ajava?
no, I have no idea. I don't want to know. I don't care either. You
Ah,
know? And I just see that we are all in the same boat. We're all on the, let's say, path of self-realization, and self-realization not in terms of a sudden, complete knowing everything, but
mm,
gradually unfolding. And we're all in that process. And I don't even know how to judge or say that somebody is further ahead than somebody else. I don't see it that way. We're all just unfolding. You are, I am, and everybody who's interested in spirituality is in that exact same situation.
mm.
So, and in the face of eternity, yeah, whether somebody is one step ahead or one step behind, it doesn't make any difference.
Mm.
There's no hurry, there's no rush. We all have to go through what we need to go through. We learn, we have a chance to learn. That's great. If you have a chance to learn something, I think that's fantastic. So I'm happy I have issues. Things to learn. Otherwise, I think I'd be bored.
Mm, mm, mm.
It's
As
nice.
well.
Don't think of like a self-realization as a product, like a finished product. I think it's a process.
Yeah. Yes, it's like the how they say, um, you know, it's not about getting to the goal. Life isn't about getting to the goal, it's about enjoying the journey,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. What's the goal? The goal is really to be yourself,
Right.
and being yourself is something that we have a chance to do now, 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 now. In every moment, we have that chance.
Yeah.
For me, that's it. Simple. But I don't think of different levels of self-realization. Of course, in all of us, there have been there's some kind of level of self-realization for everyone. Some kind of crystallization of the self. But so what? We all have that. All the
My my question to Java is, with that self-realization, connected one is to themselves. Do you believe that that makes them they have more ability to help someone connect to themselves, to their healing self when somebody's ill?
I think that helps. That it helps. So if you know yourself in some way, I don't mean like too big.
All of
Yeah.
yeah.
But if you have let's say, a sense of yourself, of who you are, then you can help other people have that too. In your presence, they get it too, because it's it's like an atmosphere, a fragrance that other people can perceive, and it reminds them of something in within themselves. That's the whole idea of working with a teacher, that they can confer some of their wisdom to you. Yeah, but it's not their wisdom, but it's their, how to say it. When you see that somebody is in a beautiful space, you can learn that
Frequency.
you can access that same space in you, because it's nothing personal, nothing that
Mm,
belongs to the other person.
mm,
All one package. So
yes.
easy example. If you see somebody who is very loving and they have this aura of love around them, that reminds you of the love that you have and that you know and that you have felt, and then maybe you can learn to also access that more frequently. So
So
it's not
and I
the other. It's not the other.
it's you.
It's you. You cannot desire or feel something that you don't know.
Yes. Yes. That brings us to another. um, but before we talk into that, how do we protect our energy? So sometimes when you are, this high vibe or this healer, when you're a healer, you generally attract people that need healing. And then sometimes it can be like your cup is getting emptied. How do you remember to refuel, and how do you know the signs of, oh, I'm starting to get depleted here, and having that self-awareness around that? Because I think a lot of healers forget to fill their cup back up. So what would you say would help with that, Jabba?
There are some. some issues with that have to do with attitude, your inner attitude. So one of the most important, I think, is knowing that it's not me who's healing anybody. I don't do anything, yeah? Because if I think, I'm such a great healer, yeah, then I very easily kind of get sick. Yeah?
Ah, yes.
The wrong attitude. And the other thing that I do is I never look at somebody, a client or a student, as sick or ill or not perfect.
Mm.
I see them like landscapes, beautiful landscapes. And I know that they are just right as they are. Maybe they don't know it yet.
Mm.
I see them, I see the beauty and the divinity. I don't mean it like,
I get it. I get it. I get what you're saying. It's beautiful.
so for me, I just see beautiful people, yeah, and beautiful people with broken arms and psychotic, beautiful people, and all of that. But yeah, I don't look at what is wrong, but I look at what is right.
Mm.
In I have an upcoming book, hopefully will come out soon. It's going to have all my experience of 35 years of doing treatments in Reiki. And in that, somewhere I say that you are incurably well.
Mm.
And that's what I see. Yeah? That people are just beautiful as they are. They just never look at themselves. They always project outwards. They never look in and see the beauty inside. But I see it. And when I work with beautiful people, um, their beauty helps me also. It makes me light. But when
Mm.
I look at sick people all the time, then I get sick.
Ah,
Yeah, so really it's a question of attitude.
you know, Ajaba, you're such an involved soul. Like when you talk to me, and I hear you on so many, on such a deep level. Um, and I think I just wonder if I hope everybody can hear and this lands the same way for them as it does for me when I talk to you or when I listen to what you're saying, because what I hear is that you're saying everybody is perfect. Everybody is, there is nothing broken within. And as long as I'm focusing on that, that's what's going to come about. Um, and, that's not everybody knows how to do that, or not everybody knows to do that.
It takes practice. Takes practice. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't see the negative or you should see everything through pink glasses. Not at all. Just see things kind of as they show themselves. And if you think, I know you're very connected to nature.
Mm.
Nature is not stupid.
Mm.
Nature is incredible. Yeah? It doesn't make imperfection.
Mm.
It creates in just unimaginable beauty, and that unimaginable beauty is literally in everyone. Sometimes I have a difficulty. I look at people, I see how beautiful they are, and I think, why they can't see it themselves? You know, like it's so obvious. It's so obvious, and instead of fighting with ourselves all the time and thinking that I'm not as I should be, and must change and I must do this therapy and that therapy and get a treatment here and a treatment there. Instead, just embrace yourself as you are is the most simple thing in the world.
And the most healing thing in the world when you accept yourself wholly and completely and say, I am perfect just as I am.
Those of us who are fortunate to be in a relationship that supports that, you know what that is like, yeah? When your partner and you, when you decide to have children and you think, oh man, those kids are good. I remember from myself, I thought, those kids that are going to be born, they're going to look just like her and they're going to be just like her. And I loved it. I thought, wow, wow, this is what I want. And if you can look at yourself the same way you look at your beloved person,
Yeah.
so not
Mm.
a delusion, yeah, but just seeing the beauty and seeing the imperfect perfection.
Yeah.
Incredible, yeah. And okay, we all have little kinks and trips and difficulties. Okay, what's wrong with that? Whoever said that you should be a saint? If you were a saint, your husband would divorce you right away. My wife, for sure, if I was a saint, she would leave right away. And we need
Balance.
balance.
And I think sometimes we forget that our imperfections make them feel okay for their imperfections, because if I was just absolutely perfect all the time, it might make my husband feel inadequate. So I'm helping him out.
He would feel horrible, yeah? If you're always good and he's always the pain in the neck,
Yeah.
it doesn't work, yeah? Or in relationship with anybody, really, if they see you and they go like, oh my God, this guy is amazing. And, yeah, then you put people on a
And
pedestal, then
okay, Matt. That's right. I could talk to you forever, Java, but I've taken up enough of your morning, I'm sure.
you know, I said before that I don't want to reach the perfection, and the same with projects like this. It's always good to keep something for next time. We have something to look forward to do. I'm sure we'll find more subjects to. It's just still nice you in this conversation we have created a beautiful bubble here. You know?
It's a beautiful bubble. I don't want to go, but it's not fair for me to take up so much of your time.
So thank you for that. And we'll talk again soon.
Right.